Joining me is the CEO of National Stock Exchange, Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan. So thank you for joining us at BT 800 and that you are here in Delhi. Definitely I have to address the elephant in the room. The big question that everybody is talking about is the kind of situation India has right now landed up itself when it comes to the tariff clash. How do you analyze this in a tough geopolitical state like today?
In a way, I think we need to look at it in a larger perspective that it's not India that has landed. The world has landed in that situation by kind of quirk of fate and the way the history has played out. It's not that Trump, the president of US, is doing only these things with India. He's doing it with Brazil, he's doing it with EU, he's doing it with South Korea, Japan, and everyone is afraid about what is coming next. And no deal made is going to stay for more than probably a night. And everyone knows that. So I don't think it's only something to do with India. But naturally, why did we come where we come? I mean, where we came is basically because of the fact that last 75, 80 years, US has been the most powerful nation in the world. And over last almost 38 years after the Berlin Wall fell in 1988, is this unipolar single power in the world. Before that, there was Russia, right? And so, in a way, although they have been very powerful, they are slowly losing that power. They also lost out on their industrial base by transporting it to other countries, largely China. And so now they don't have the industrial base, which was their fulcrum on which they could do things. So they, over last 30, 40 years on the project globalization, as I call it, the elites in Europe and US decided to keep only IP, that is intellectual property, the defense, IT and few other things, and finance with them, and everything else they wanted to export to polluting or sort of polluting industries to countries which don't mind pollution. Yeah. And they wanted to have clean air and other things, and they basically transported it knowingly. And naturally, they had to tell their people that if you're losing job, we will give you social security. That's how they ended up giving huge social security, and today they don't have increasing tax base, so the social security is becoming a burden. The Medicare, which they usually provide in US above 65, but Europe and Canada provide universally, that is everyone, free of cost, and that ends up costing a lot. So today, in some ways, US is neck deep in the debt as a central government, $35 trillion of debt and $1.7 to $1.9 trillion of new debt coming every year. And then they have to roll over the old debt. And so that's the issue where they are now feeling poorer. Vis-a-vis earlier where they were the masters of the world, and suddenly they feel very bad about the entire situation. And that's where where we have come is in a way part of last 50, 60, 70 years of things that happened. And if Donald Trump had not come, somebody else would have come for US and tried to do the same thing. And what I say is that the geopolitics, it's economics for breakfast, right? And so whatever we do in business has to be subservient to the games the countries play. Yeah. And today, India is in that place where we are among the top 4 groups in the world which are being considered. 10 years back, 30 years back, we were not even considered, right? So today, US, India, China and EU are the 4 most powerful players in the world. And that's where India is much more sanguine. Our framework of services is not in the play because even US is surplus in services. So they don't want to touch that. And they are not touching as of now. That doesn't mean he will not touch later on if he don't do what he wants, right? And so, but currently services are not in play, and services is where we get the max from US. But our exports basket, again, the petrol, diesel are currently not in the play because that's exempt. And similarly, pharmaceutical is exempt. That again doesn't mean tomorrow he may not do it. Yeah. But so what gets affected is the SME sector largely, which is actually job creating, right? And some of the other areas which we are hoping to do well with textile and other things, which again are not going to do so well if the same tariffs continue. Yeah. But if you are able to bring down the tariff by whatever means, then naturally you will be competitive with other countries, and naturally that time our entrepreneurs will be able to show their might.
Yeah. So do you think we should do tit for tat? Because this is a pressure tactic, if you agree. This is basically being done to just put us down. And while we've had a first mover advantage with them, we've been friends, and this is not how friends play on the chessboard, right?
In a way, it's our expectations about how to carry out diplomacy. This person is not going by the conventional standards of diplomacy. He trash talks. He tries to get that small little advantage by sort of talking bad about others. And so it's a way of doing things. That doesn't mean he doesn't have power. See, if you look back, even now, if you think that China is one more block coming up, the BRICS and all, China is exporting its way out to kill everyone. Yeah. Even this year, $1.2 trillion of customs surplus and $2 trillion of manufacturing surplus. Yeah. That country is never going to take anything from you, nor iPhone, nor textiles, nor jeans or nothing, right? So that's a wrong place to go in a larger sense, although you can use it tactically. Yeah. But broadly, China cannot replace US and EU. And somewhere we'll have to mend our ways in whichever way which is more win-win. And that is what our exporters are telling us. Our businesses are telling us that they are being very unreasonable, especially with India. But again, we have to find a way so that we are trying to be in the game, right? And that's where, and slowly, with what I call time, we will be able to show what we need to do. But currently, large part of our exports, that is services, and also the petrol derivatives, that is crude derivatives like petrol, diesel, or iPhone, they are not in the play because they are not being taxed that much. But you never know later on, right?
Yeah. So you've been at the helm of NSE. Would you agree with the dead economy jibe that he's given us?
No, in a way, this is the fastest growing economy by miles, right? We are more than double their growth. And probably by the end of 25, US is going to actually slow down drastically because of the tariff shock, which is not yet touched them, because most of the inventories that got sold were actually imported before the tariff got applied to US. So everyone had built up that sort of inventory wall. Yeah. Now that is got done, and now the new tariffs, when they come in, it's going to be inflationary, and also it will not allow them to reduce their interest rates, because inflation will ensure you can't reduce that much. And there were very large rollover coming, almost $7 trillion of rollover of the debt, and $1 to $2 trillion of new borrowing. It's going to be too many complexities for even US economy for them to manage internally. Currently, it's being made very external because the political constituency kind of tries to work with, wants sort of external heads, right? Mm-hmm. But when it starts coming in, the new jobs are not coming into US. Yeah. The manufacturing is too costly there, right?
And so it's too low currently. They were expecting the tariffs would actually up their game on manufacturing.
It cannot, because the cost of manpower there is like 10 times higher than India, or 10 times higher than China. So they are not competitive on the low cost production. And if it's what I call highly automated, then the manpower is not even required, right? So that's where, for me, their hope are not going to materialize, especially in short term, probably in 3 to 5 years. And China is on a rampage. They don't want to give up. 40% of world's manufacturing is done by them. We, in comparison, we do only 4% of world's services, right? So they are so dominant, and they are like hell-bent, saying, come, whatever we are going to export away, right? From electric cars to iPhones to anything. And that's where, for me, the hopes of turnaround suddenly in industrial the middle America, which has no jobs. Mm-hmm. The east and west coast are basically east coast is finance, west coast is IT. And middle America lost jobs in the industrial situation. It's not going to revive anytime soon in America. And that, it's good to have euphoria of having some heads coming from outside as a trophy, saying you've done this, you've done that. But when the jobs don't come, inflation starts hitting. Yeah. It's going to be very tough for, from the political perspective, also for the same constituency which he is trying to apply. And that's where, for me, the further time passes. But we, again, given our situation, we must try to make a balance, work with as many people as possible, including US. There will be unreasonableness sometimes,
Continue the negotiations.
right? And also, in a way, create a win-win solution if possible.
And diversify our other markets, our other FTAs.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for speaking with us. Thank you.